I'm going to be reading a passage from The Great Gatsby, and pretty much this is just a passage of where Gatsby is explaining to Nick why his love with Daisy didn't work out, and just like a background behind their love. I did extraordinarily well in the war. I was a captain before I went to the front, and following the Argonne battles, I got my majority in the command of the divisional machine guns. After the armistice, I tried frantically to get home, but some complication or misunderstanding sent me to Oxford instead. I was worried now. There was a quality of nervous despair in Daisy's letters. She didn't see why I couldn't come. She was feeling the pressure of the world outside, and she wanted to see me and feel my presence beside her and be reassured that she was doing the right thing after all. For Daisy was young. Her artificial world was redolent of orchids and pleasant, cheerful snobbery, and orchestras which set the rhythm of the year, summing up the sadness and suggestiveness of life in new tunes. All night, the saxophones wailed the hopeless comment of the Beale Street Blues, while 100 pairs of gold and silver slippers shuffled in the shining dust. At the great tea hour, there were always rooms that throbbed incessantly, this low, sweet fever, with fresh faces drifted here and there like rose petals blown by the sad horns around the floor. Though this twilight universe, Daisy began to move again with the season. Suddenly, she was again keeping half a dozen dates a day with half a dozen men, and drowsing asleep at dawn with the beads and chiffon of an evening dress tangled among orchids on the floor beside her bed. And all the time, something within her was crying for a decision. She wanted her life shaped now, immediately, and the decision must be made by some force of love, money, of unquestionable practicality that was close at hand. That force took shape in the middle of spring with the arrival of Tom Buchanan. There was a wholesome bulkiness about this person and his position, and Daisy was flattered. Doubtless, there was a certain struggle and a certain relief. The letter reached me while I was at Oxford. It was dawn now on Long Island, and we went about opening the rest of the windows downstairs, filling the house with gray-turning, gold-turning light. The shadows of a tree fell abruptly across the dew, and ghostly birds began to sing among the blue leaves. There was a slow, pleasant movement in the air, scarcely a wind, promising a cool, lovely day. I don't think she ever loved him. I turned around from the window and looked at Nick challengingly. You must remember, old sport. She was very excited this afternoon. He told her those things in a way that frightened her, that made her look as if I was some type of cheap sharper. And the result, she hardly knew what she was saying. I sat down gloomily. Of course she might have loved him for a minute, when they were first married, and loved me more even then, do you see? Suddenly, I came across with a curious remark. In any case, I said, it was just personal.